Hi everyone. My name is Salim Miller once again, and I have with me Dr. Anuj Sharma. Dr. Anuj, would you be kind enough to up with a little introduction about yourself?
Yeah, I'm Anuj Sharma. I am a professor at Iowa State University in Civil Engineering Department, and I'm also co-founder and CEO of a startup called COLTIE.
All right, so let's start with you as a professor. Yeah, Iowa State University. How long have you been here, and how has it been in general?
I moved here in 2014. Time flies. It has been a long time now. And it has been an amazing journey here at Iowa State University. When I came in, that was the time where all big data analytics was just starting, and we set up our own lab with our Hadoop cluster. And now it is ages forward in terms of where the analytics and AI has come along from since 2014.
Okay, I think one thing I'm also really keen on, I usually want to ask professors is, back in your undergrad days, were you always sure about getting a PhD? And after your PhD, did you consider industry or you were sure about academia as well?
Oh, I was never sure. So if you talk to my undergraduate friends, none of them would have thought that I'll become a professor. I did After my undergrad, I did work in a software company for almost a year. And one thing which I realized there was that I wanted to be an expert in something, and there were a lot of people who have come to software industry from computer engineering and computer science, and I thought that I'll always be playing catch up because my 4-year degree was in civil engineering. So that's when I decided to come to masters in Texas A&M University. And at Texas A&M, after my masters, I was also debating whether I should go for PhD or whether I should go to consulting. But one of my advisor really kind of pushed me, said that, hey, this is a good career. And he did some maths for me that if you invest 3 to 4 years in PhD, where your starting salary would be versus if you would spend 3 to 4 years in consulting, where your salary would be. And also, we did see my genuine interest when I enjoy doing research. So I think PhD is more of a lifetime decision, in the sense that if you really like to do things which don't have definite answers, and are really willing to take that risk to dive forward without not knowing how deep the sea is, probably PhD is
Oh,
where you go
oh,
for.
nice.
Yeah.
What would you say is your favorite thing about the life as like being a career in academia? What's your favorite thing about it?
Uh, Life in academia is again that is again a personal choice. I'll just give a comparison between my wife is in a corporate job and I'm in academia. For us, there is a lot of flexibility of hours, but there is no clear cut that I can shut off my computer and say that, okay, I won't work for next 2 days, or I'm done at 5 p.m. It is not always true. Even in corporate business, you do have workloads, but there is a more clear-cut definition of when you can switch off and just enjoy.
Yes.
But there is a lot of flexibility in academia. So if I have to go out, travel for a conference, I can just, if I find it interesting, research related, I don't have to justify it to anyone, saying that how it is going to, like I'm my own startup, so I'm deciding on my own. Whereas if you're working for, like my friend works in a corporate job, so if he wants to attend a conference, even if he likes that area, he needs to make a justification how the company would benefit from it. So I enjoy. The other thing which I enjoy is interacting with all these young students who come in, and also there is something to be said that if you are surrounded by students, you do play a lot more, and do I feel that you are younger for a longer time.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So you talked about being your own startup because you're in academia, but in reality, you do have a startup of your own. So what was the motivation behind starting COLTIE?
So
So
Colty was one of the ideas. Like, I have been through this journey where I was an international student, came to US without any friends or family in US. And there are a lot of mentors which I got. Like, there were seniors who helped me out. for providing temporary accommodation. There were seniors who helped me out for saying that, hey, you need to go and find hourly work over here. And then my research advisor was uh, guiding me that apply for PhD, don't go for consulting. And then my final PhD advisor also helped me decide whether I should go in academia or consulting. I had both the job offers. So what I found out was that I was lucky enough to have all these mentors in my path, but that is not true for everyone. I have a lot of stories in with friends of close friends of mine who are not as lucky as I was. So one of the things which the other important number to remember is that almost 39 to 40% of students who are doing PhD in US have reported to have stress or anxiety. So and one of the ways we can reduce this stress is first is making sure that the student knows what they're getting into, but also have this community around them. So like in research they call it peer network,
Right.
but the best thing is that you're hanging out with your friends. If you have a stress, you can talk to them. You also have peer mentor. So this is not the person who is advising you directly, but who you can go and talk to. So we want to develop that community through COLTIE, so that the goal is we can reduce the information gap, and hopefully this community can reduce that anxiety level. Even if we can go from 39 to 20, I'll say my goal is achieved. Yes.
Right, sir. I think so. You talked about Coates' goal being able to create that community, and I'm curious. You're also taking students as a professor here at Iowa State University. When you have an international student coming in, or you see applications from international students, what's one thing you look out for, like in the application, that makes them stand out for you?
So there are a couple of things which I look out at. I think for a faculty, it is more important for a faculty to find the best student than compared to a student to find a faculty, because our jobs and our everything depends on the student. Like when you're working on 10 different projects, you for sure cannot do it manually myself. So I feel these students are basically extension of me, and I can get much more done, and I can achieve much more if I get find the right match. So it is not that like I always say, it has to be a match rather than a good student or a bad student. So, and I'll give you an example. One of the students came to me, and he was academically very excellent and hardworking student, but he didn't enjoy coding, and my research requires coding. So like first semester they tried hard, but they were not liking it as much, and that showed up in the result. That like if you're not producing results which I'm looking for, there is issue between faculty and the student as well, and it is a negative spiral. It goes down. So just having a chat with that student, that hey, um, you don't I want don't want you to feel that you are not good enough. You are good enough, but you are good enough for some other professor.
Right, sir.
So I think for me it is that fit I'm looking for, that the kind of work which I do, does it excite the student? Is they are intellectually capable of doing that work, and are they motivated enough that they enjoy it so much that they're willing to learn as well? So those are the three things I'm looking for. There's no magic wand where we can do it. So I would say that I have been successful maybe 90% of the time, but there has been
Well, nobody.
few students
Yeah.
which didn't work out, and I was open enough to tell them that, hey, it doesn't reflect anything about you if you don't work out in this group. It just reflects that this is not something uh, like either it's my personality, my work, or something which makes it problematic.
Okay. So I think you spoke about the major thing is just understanding the fit between the student's interest and what the professor is currently working on. So I think there's also a big indecision students have when they're trying to make decisions just picking a grad school.
Yes.
So there's this dilemma between going for a quote unquote prestigious school. So are you picking a school? Are you picking a professor? So what do you think about that in general?
I would say every time pick a professor. So I'll give you an example why it is important, and what you're looking for. So every school, even if you look at Iowa State University, our ranking in engineering might be hovering around 30s or something. But there are some faculty groups who are as good as anyone else you'll find elsewhere. And there would be some faculty in really top schools which might not be a right fit for you. So suppose I'll take an example of my alma mater, Purdue University. I would say that you can find a professor in Purdue University, and you can find a professor at Iowa State University. And if you are a good fit with either of them, you would end up getting the same job. So your end goal is actually finding what your career pathway is. And if you find a bad match at Purdue University and you get depressed and you go down, that is much worse than if you're at Iowa State University with a good fit. And that is one of the things which why I started COLTIE as well, is a lot of this is not this information is not there with everyone. When I was applying, I only looked at schools, and I think I was lucky enough to find the right professor. But as I said, there are people who haven't found it, and that's why some of them quit middle way. Um, I think in US the PhD completion rate for engineering student is around 60%. So it means that 40% of the student, like if one in every three students won't be able to finish or even more than 1.5 to 3 won't be able to finish it.
Okay, so you talked about matches like office between the professor and the students. How does Code C help solve that?
Uh, can you repeat?
Code C, how does it help
Oh,
like
yes.
students pick the right fits?
So right now, how we are doing it is what we have currently got a database of like 50,000 faculty. How we have curated this database is from multiple sources, whatever is the online information available about the professor. So if we had their email IDs, we know which department they work in, which university they work in, and what is their rank. But we also get the Google Scholar papers for them. So what the Google Scholar paper gives us is in last 5 years, what has been their research topic. So we use basically machine learning algorithms to derive that these are the 5 keywords. And when a student searches and says that I'm interested in, for example, AI, machine vision, transportation, intersection safety, I'll show up as a higher level match. So we show these matches to students that these are the professors you might be interested in, and then student can click on the profile and see what how much work does this professor does. One other thing in terms of match is uh, what are the expectations for someone to finish up the PhD. So one way to find out by just looking at the paper is if you look at my first authors, all of them are most likely my PhD students. So how many papers are they publishing? How many papers is my group publishing in a year? So that gives you idea about two things. One is typical expectation in terms of how many publications you should have, and also how active my group has been. So that will give you an idea that whether I'll have an opportunity with and things like that. So I think number of papers and number of papers from the same first author will give you a lot of information.
Okay, so international countries are trying to reach you. What's the best way for them to reach you?
I think one of the best way is through COLTIE chat, and COLTIE is free for any student, so they can just make an account, go to Apple Store or Google Play Store, download COLTIE. The first message they get from COLTIE is my message. So and once they have my message, they can just reach out to me regarding any questions. Emails, typically I have long emails, so sometimes I don't even get to all the emails I'm getting. So I think sending a chat message is the best. I would also like to say is that if you have any issues, it doesn't have to be about application. If you're thinking about grad school, you want to just bounce your idea with someone, I'll be happy and open to respond to those chat messages. So use that.
All right, so you're talking about course here. How many professors are on there? Are you the only professor on the course here?
Sure. So we have a database of professors and they can claim the database, but like at least for a student who is looking for professor, we currently have 50,000 professors, but we are adding another 50,000 which will expand quality from US to worldwide market. So what we have done is we have taken the list of top 2% researchers worldwide, which Elsevier publishes, and then we had gone out and found out whether they have Google Scholar account or not, whether what is their university email ID and things like that. So that when a student is searching for, that is one less thing they have to think about is finding the email ID and professor. So you can just give your keywords and you'll see all these professors lining up. One other thing which we are going to launch shortly is ability for them to kind of do a chat. So we are producing an AI chatbot where they can ask a question that, hey, I'm
What's the motivation behind the name?
COLTIE,
Yeah.
it stands for college ties. So we want to make sure everyone gets connected in different colleges. So that's the motivation behind
That
the.
makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Once again, talking about getting more information before picking a professor, how important would you say it is for students to speak with existing PhD students of the professor of interest? How important is that for them?
That is the second step. What I'll say is pick up your top 5 professors, and then you can de-risk it. So you can find out that, hey, I want to in terms of, I'll also mention in terms of university ranking, uh, y- there are groups. They are not like 1 and 2 are not significantly different. 1 and 30 might be significantly different. So you want to create groups. That I'll create a first group of 1 through 15 universities. Then I'll create a second group of 15 to 40 universities, and so forth. And then within those universities, you pick up your professors, and then couple of things. It is important to contact the grad students, because there is no way you'll be able to find some of the micro details about the professors group. And we are trying to do that in quality as well, by doing more interviews with the current graduate students. But the questions you would like to ask is, um, how is the mentoring style of the professor?
Okay.
What is the expectations in terms of finishing your PhD? What is the how often does the professor meet you? In terms of, is there a lot of interdisciplinary project going on, or is it more theoretical, going deep? So those are the questions you want to find out, and also interact with the grad students to find out how stressed they are. You can easily see in a Zoom interview or something if a person is really stressed about their work.
I see.
And being stressed is not always bad. There will be days where every grad student has to be stressed. You'll have a deadline, you'll have a paper deadline. But if it is something which is affecting your own value of yourself, that is when it becomes problem. I think you can be stressed of a deadline, and no matter which way you go, there will be those things. And in graduate school, there that's more. But if you're stressed about, um, hey, I don't want to meet my professor because he'll shout at me, that's
That's
a
a bad one,
problem.
yeah,
Yeah.
right? I think another thing I'm curious about, so you said that's the second step, and I understand that applying for grad school, I mean, if you're applying for the fall of 2026, you start from this fall, and like it's a long process. So the first step will be picking a professor, second will be speaking with the grad school,
Correct.
yeah, right, yeah. What would you say the third step would be like? What other steps should the students take?
So I think a lot of students try to reach out to the professors. The response rate is very low. So if you send out, say, 100 emails, you might see 10 or 12 professor respond. And don't be disheartened by that. One couple of things is that sometimes we don't know about our funding till till end of December or something like that. So if you're approaching me in August, the best I can say is that, hey, your application looks good, apply, and we'll find out. The other thing which we want to wait for is look for our overall pool. So if I start committing myself in September, October, I won't see a really good candidate which might show up. So no matter how good you are, I would commit myself till the end of January, because I want to be fair with all the students who have applied. But one of the things, there is this inherent bias. If I've seen your name, and if I have thought that, okay, this person looks really good, maybe communicated 1 or 2 times over email, it sticks that, hey, this person really genuinely feels that this is a good student for a lab. But it can go other way around as well. So if you reach out to a professor, call them by a different name, say that, oh, I'm interested in structure and I'm a transportation professor, that's a big red flag. No matter how good you are, you're not getting into my lab because you didn't do a thorough research on what you are looking for. And I have been on the other side as well. I have spanned a lot of professors, but at least for each professor, I spend 15 minutes to find out what their research topic is, and draft a good email. So I think that is, instead of going for sending out 100 emails, send out 20 good emails, and that would get you somewhere good.
So you're saying ultimately quality emails over quantity of emails.
For sure.
Okay,
For sure.
perfectly. And when you get these emails, the ones that you responded to, what are some things that stood out in those emails?
So there are multiple things which stand out for me. Is one thing is that if the person has genuinely looked at some of my papers, and tied their experience with those papers. So that does stand out. But like anything which I say on camera, there'll be thousands of students who will do exactly the same thing. So these like students are smart, but I would like to say some genuineness in the email. If I say it is a cookie cutter email, it's like, okay, this person has put to chat GPT what my papers are, drafted a good email, but it won't stand out. It is again standing out. The other thing which might help me stand out is if you have done, for example, in your case, you did an internship in Iowa State. So I know a person I can talk to find out how good you are. So like some kind of connection like that. Usually, also talking about like it would be good to mention your GPA if you have a good GPA. It would be good to mention what your ranking of school is within. Sometimes, like, I don't know every school out there. So sometimes I don't even know what is the best university in Nigeria, for example, or Ghana, or Korea. So in that case, giving that context is good. And also, if you would have talked to my grad student before reaching out to me, grad students are more likely to respond more, or you can just go to LinkedIn and look at their profiles, what they're doing, and then try to relate it to me. So it takes a lot more time than if you were just drafting an email. But if you can, yeah, as I said, instead of 100, send out 20 emails, do research, and be genuinely interested in that work.
Okay. In terms of timeline,
Mm-hmm.
so let's say I'm applying towards the fall of 2026.
Uh-huh.
When would be a good time for me to send my email to you?
When would be the good time? You can, I would say the perfect sweet spot is around, for me, it's around October time frame.
Mhm.
Yeah, because August is too early. I'm thinking about my classes are starting. What am I going to do? It's too far away from December. So most likely a response you'll get from me is, hey, good application. My decisions are going to be made in February. But if there's something someone is as I said, October, November is a pretty good spot because I started thinking about students which I'm hiring and so forth. Um, and sometimes what happens is y- again, it's also luck. Is you have chosen like 20 faculty, maybe 5 of them would hear about a grant and they are looking for a student.
Right, sir.
So that would be another thing. Some of the newer faculty sometimes are also looking because every in US a lot of new faculty who gets a job has a startup package, and they are recruiting students as soon as possible. So some of them might say, if you reach out to them in August, they might say, hey, can you come in spring? So it is never a bad time to start communication. Personally speaking, for me, it's around October.
Okay, okay, that's amazing. So what's your favorite thing about working on COLTIE?
What?
What's your favorite thing about working on COLTIE?
I didn't get the
What's your favorite thing?
favorite thing about working in Goldie. Oh boy, a favorite thing is this uh, interacting with student and trying to help them out. We are trying to also create this helpline kind of a thing where anyone stuck in any problem can just put their issue in the helpline, and we'll try to find out solutions for them. So we have done it on WhatsApp so far, but we are trying to integrate it in COLTIE as well. And sometimes it is just a matter of talking to someone, like being. So I know there are students who have just dropped in and said that, hey, I am running into this problem, but I don't know anyone else who is in academia and can help me out. So they might just turn to me and just interacting with them. Even if the problem doesn't get solved, I think their level of stress goes down. That okay, by just knowing that someone else also has faced similar problems,
Okay.
they are not the only one facing the problem. So I think just seeing happy faces is one thing which
Yes.
is amazing. We would like to do a lot more in that regards, not just at Iowa State, but other universities as well.
Okay, so wrapping up now, what's that piece of advice you have for any international students looking to apply to grad school?
So one piece of advice for any student is what is your final destination you are looking for. So PhD or masters is just a pathway, and if you are really interested in the pathway itself, which has a lot of stress, chaos, then go for it. If you're just going it, if your dream goal is just to come to a foreign country, uh, there are you should think a little bit deeper that is the risk of getting a job in a foreign country as high or as low as in your country? Would you like, what is the pay differential? So those questions have to be thought a lot, because I know some students from India, they were doing a really good job in India,
Right, sir.
and were happy there. They apply for some new degree over here, and then now they are, after finishing up the degree, really struggling finding a job. So like, was it worth it, is the question.
Right, sir.
So if you're interested in actually getting a PhD or a master's in a specific area,
Right, sir.
go for it.
Nice.
If your idea is that you want to improve your chances to get a better job,
Right.
and so then you should explore all the pathways. Is it possible to go to, um, find a job in your country, get experience for 3 years, then come to US? How does it increase the probability of you getting a job?
All right, then. All right, then. So thank you very much, Dr. Anuj Sharma. It's been amazing speaking with you. Thanks so much. And amazing work you're doing with COLTIE as well. It's really nice that you're trying to create something. You've identified the problem and you're trying to create something to solve the problem. So thank you very much once again. Hopefully this helps launch out.
Yeah. Can I ask you one question?
Yeah.
What is one of the biggest struggle in Nigeria in finding the best fit? If you are looking for graduate school, what is one thing which keeps you awake in the night?
I think, oh, damn, that's a good one. I think, first of all, in general, students in Nigeria, many students tend to place a premium on schools
Okay.
and professors. So they then apply to the bigger schools, and it's like a whole issue with that year. I think also just understanding how competitive the process is.
Okay.
I think that's something that definitely it keeps you up all night. And I'm thinking about that a lot more. Yeah. What else? That's a really good question. Damn. I think those are two major ones. Just thinking about the right professor fits one. Also thinking about the competition of the process, how competitive it is, right? That's also something that keeps you up at night. Also wondering, I think, in terms of, just to buttress my point about the fees, right? In terms of being sure, because in as much as, are you really interested in this? This is a good one, yeah. The time frame of a PhD is something that keeps me up at night. Like, okay, this is 5 years of your life. And then I think you talked about how you should be a bit more focused on what you're trying to do, and being sure that is a PhD important in what you're trying to do, as opposed to just, okay, I want to do a PhD, or like I want to, just focusing more on, okay, 5 years of my life, is this, do I need this to achieve what I'm trying to achieve? And if the answer to that is yes, then absolutely do it. But like, I think I had a phase. Now I think now I'm pretty sure onto the PhD, right? But initially, I had that phase where I'm thinking, 5 years, what I'm trying to do, and then I have to speak with people doing what I'm trying to do. And I'm talking to them, okay, he has a PhD, he has a PhD, she has a PhD. Yeah, and okay, I probably need a PhD.
Yeah.
I had a few calls with them, and then okay. So I think that decision to even be sure about what further degree you need. Do I need a master's? Can a master's work? Or do I need a PhD? Or do I even need either of them? So I think that's very, very important. I think I struggled with that early on.
Yeah.
But I think with speaking with more people,
Yeah.
I'm a bit more, I'm not there yet, but I think I have way more clarity than I had early on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you very much once again.